podcast on Bigfoot with Khalil, Diamond, Stevie, and your boy Tanner.
All right. So, Khalil, do you want to start us off with a story or something?
Yeah, give us some
Bigfoot,
facts.
Sasquatch, Yeti, the abominable snowman, stories of a large hairy creature appearing to be half man, half ape, have been told around campfires for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Do y'all think Bigfoot real?
Of course. Okay, do you want to
I want to see him one day.
talk?
They got different names for them in different cultures, you know.
Yeah.
I want to see Bigfoot one day. Well, actually, this is a story right here.
Go for it.
All right, this is a story about this boy. He was in the summer, he say. All right, anyways. He said, this happened around 1981 in Pickens County, South Carolina. I was about 14 years old. My brother lived in Pickens. I lived between Pickens, Easley, and this happened between Pickens and home. Anyways, can you wait?
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a story that happened in Greenville, which is super close. And there were these friends staying at one of their houses, and they were inside watching TV. And then all of a sudden, they just heard a screaming coming from outside, and they stopped and listened. And then they heard it again. So they got one of their dads, whoever they were staying with, and he went and got his gun, and they walked down through the
What
field.
size was the gun?
.22.
Yeah, not big enough.
Okay. And I didn't finish reading the story, but they were walking through the brush and were shining the flashlight. They shined it, and there were red eyes staring back at them. And they were hearing tree limbs breaking, and then they took off running back to the house.
It's a big one. What year was this?
This was either 85 or 86. Yeah.
That
It was
a
in
while-
the summer of July.
while
And
back.
after they went back to the house, they still heard the screaming for 3 to 4 hours. After.
Man.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay.
All right.
Tanner?
This one's pretty interesting. Okay. So the year is 1993 in Inman, South Carolina. Okay. This guy, he lived in Inman, which is a small town, and him and his son were out on their back porch, because it was a good night. There was like good moonlight, and they were using their telescope that night. Him and his son got that same day on the back porch. Okay.
Okay.
And after that, they were out there using the telescope. Their dog, they have a small dog, and it was barking, and all dogs bark, so they didn't mind it,
Yeah.
But after 2 hours of the small dog barking, they went over there to, check it out. Okay. And as they were checking it out on the edge of the woods near a path of blackberry bushes. So I guess that means a Bigfoot might like blackberry bushes if you have blackberry bushes in your yard. Yeah.
I have blackberry bushes in my yard.
You might have a Sasquatch. And so after the dog had been barking for 2 hours or maybe a little more, the guy got concerned and walked out there to see what the dog was barking at. And when he got over there, they looked, and there was this large, hairy animal crouched down
Ew, that gave
in
me
the
chills.
gully,
That gave me
which I thought was a large
chills.
chow dog. Okay. So I stomped my foot and yelled at it. Okay. Probably not a good okay. To go away, Okay. And when I did, it stood up. Now, if that was a chow dog, it probably should not have stood up. But this chow dog stood up. Like a human. On 2 feet. It had light gray hair. It was 6 feet tall. And it had large gorilla shoulders and no neck. No dramatic. All right. And then it started running into the woods. And get this, just like Stevie, how your Bigfoot was knocking down the trees, they also say this one, when it ran through the woods, was knocking over lots of trees and being very, very loud in the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Stevie.
I mean, they're big. They're freaking huge. Yeah, I have a
Alright.
Bigfoot.
But
And so,
personally,
when that happened, the guy that went down there, his son was with him. But his son is like older now. It says he's 6'4", so he's probably got some age on him.
I have a question for you, Tanner.
All right, yeah, go ahead and give
Do
me
you
that question.
personally believe in Bigfoot?
Oh yeah, 110% believe in Bigfoot.
What's your
He's
Bigfoot
real.
name, Stevie?
I might get out there tonight and go find him.
What's your
Go
Bigfoot
sit down
name?
beside some blackberry bushes, find him.
Randy. Yeah.
All right. Let me get back to the story. It gets good. It gets
Okay.
good. All right. So after they saw the Bigfoot, they took off running, and they said that they were running so fast they weren't even touching the ground. That's what it says. So they weren't even touching the ground. That's how fast they were running.
They were floating.
Yeah, that's how fast they were running. I guess you start floating when you see a Bigfoot. And
Alright. Is that it for the story?
let me check here. It was so strong it cracked small trees. You know, a small tree, it's pretty stout. Which
Well,
I've
Bigfoot
tried
is
to break him.
pretty big.
He is.
Yeah.
He could probably eat him. And so yeah, that's about it for this one. We can go back to that end and then come back down here, or I could just get another one.
No, we're
Whatever
gonna
way I
go.
want to do.
Khalil, you want to say anything?
All right, back to Khalil.
I think it's a sign of being paranoid. I don't think that, big 6 feet tall creatures are real.
Wait, Khalil, you don't believe in Bigfoot?
I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I think Bigfoot's real. I actually want to
He's
see
real.
him one day.
Hold
But then
on.
I'll be scared. I'll be so scared.
Hold on. We actually have photographical evidence here in
Yeah.
the studio. Let me
But if you
find
think about
this.
it, no matter how much photographical evidence you have, if there
So you
hasn't
think the
been
pictures are fake?
100% proof, there's no 100% proof that he's real.
So
So
think the
you're
pictures are
telling me
fake?
this picture right here with that little black blob on there is
Look
not a
at that.
Bigfoot?
That's Bigfoot right
Yeah,
there.
look at that one Diamond's got.
Yeah, that
with
one's
today's
crazy.
That's a
technology,
Bigfoot.
That's a big man.
You can create any photo and make it seem real.
All right, wait, let me see that
Yeah,
one.
Photoshop. But this looks real.
All right. See right here?
I mean, that could look like a man in a costume.
No.
Right,
But-
though.
No. Look
But you also have to
how
think
tall he is.
there has
What?
been multiple
You don't even look that
stories
tall.
about Bigfoot.
don't-
Different sizes, different, all that type of stuff. So you have to realize that maybe it's not real. There's a 50% chance.
He's definitely real. I was watching Finding Bigfoot on the Animal Planet show one time, and there was an encounter with a guy, and he claimed he actually killed one. All right, but I never got to see it on TV. Never showed it. So,
That would
but
be
I believe
like-
him. I believe him.
That would be
He
like
shot one of 'em.
breaking news if
This
somebody.
story is actually kind of cool, though. He said he be riding his bike every day through the woods.
Uh-huh.
I have a question for all three.
All right.
How could you make a creature half man, half ape?
I
How
mean,
would that be physically possible?
Physically possible, we came from the apes.
maybe if like a man and an ape made love.
Where do you think this story came from hundreds and hundreds of years ago?
From that one person in the village that made love with an ape.
Okay.
This thing says, he said he be riding his bike to his brother's apartment through the woods to get to his brother's apartment. He said he didn't live far from there. Easily. He said he lived in Easley. He ride his bike to Pickens. to
Right
his-
up the road.
Yeah.
So since you three believe in Bigfoot, where do you believe these nicknames came from? Like the various nicknames.
Well, I think the Bigfoot one came from his foot tracks in the dirt were pretty big. Sasquatch, I don't know. That's kind of a weird word. Abominable Snowman's more of like a different breed.
What about a
I
Yeti?
don't know. A Yeti, that's also like a tundra animal, you know?
Okay.
They just got nicknames, but we already know his real name is Bigfoot. Bigfoot is real.
Yeah.
We're going to catch
Finish
him.
your story though.
We're going to catch him one day. Okay, so, like I said, he lived in Easley. And, anyways, he lived in Easley. He would drive his bike through the woods to get to Pickens to his brother's apartment. So he said at night his friend Brian would come to the brother apartment. So they was going right through the bike at nighttime. He's going through the woods again. Like at night.
Yeah.
So he said he was riding his bike ahead of his brother. Not his brother, his friend, Brian. And then he said when he turned, he saw something whitish in color that had moved from the roadside of the fence to the other side, moving in color, knocking branches out the way. The only thing he could think of was it being a horse because of the height. I don't think a horse would be that tall. And the horse can't even stand on 2 feet.
I mean, it would be tough to get a horse and Bigfoot mixed up, I think. Maybe like a bear and Bigfoot. That'd be pretty similar.
Well, it was nighttime.
Well, yeah, it was nighttime, so you wouldn't be able to see. It was really dark.
Oh, yeah, the nighttime would
So
put a dampening on things.
He said the next day he went to that same spot and quickly decided that a horse would not move that fast throughout that type of cover. I went through for one moment that fast. That type of cover, I never thought for one moment it was a Bigfoot. I'd be scared.
Question.
All right.
What makes you think these stories aren't for entertainment purposes?
Cool. Are you
because
kidding me?
these aren't. They're just not.
Hey, these are off of the internet.
These
Yeah,
are off the
these-
internet. You
Look,
somebody just
this
gonna
is
type it up,
literally
"Oh,
a
you know."
newspaper. This is
Yeah.
a newspaper article.
The internet doesn't lie.
Yeah. You think the internet?
Are you
You just don't
100%?
believe.
I'm 150% sure. 150.
Anyways, so
Have you ever spotted Bigfoot with?
Well,
to,
I have.
I've heard him, okay? I have not physically seen him with my eyeballs.
And
I
what-
have a
Can
story.
you describe what you heard?
Me and Stevie, we were there when we encountered
Yep.
the Bigfoot hearing sighting.
We were down in the woods behind
Mhm.
his house, and he's got a pond back there, and we were just sitting there on the tailgate of his truck, just looking at the pond, and all of a sudden, a tree just falls,
Yeah.
like right behind us to the right, and like 10 minutes later, a tree behind us to the left
Like big trees.
falls.
Not no little trees.
2 trees fall.
Big trees.
It's crazy. And then one other time, we were down there at nighttime by the pond on the 4-wheeler, and we would shine the light.
I like four-wheelers.
Okay, we would shine the light over, like, across the pond. Every time we would turn it off, something would start, like, messing around in the water and splashing. And when we would turn it on, it would stop immediately. And we'd, like, turned it off and on, like, 20 times, and it did it each time. It was
I think
crazy.
He was stuck on the opposite side of the pond, though. I don't think he's an aquatic animal. Because
Okay.
it sounded like he was trying to get in the water, but he was scared of it.
Yeah, but every time we shone the light.
What
it
about the
was-
trees falling? That could have been a natural disaster.
He's strong. No, because
Okay, but how would 2 trees fall like 10 minutes apart? And that's the only time we've ever heard trees fall back. And
Big
we're
trees.
back there a lot. Like, we're down in those woods a lot.
often.
Maybe
Yeah.
it could have
Quite
been
often.
a different animal.
Okay,
Different
what other animal knocks trees over?
An abnormally large raccoon. No, just kidding.
Not even that.
Yep. So that means it was a Bigfoot.
Yep.
And I'm gonna get him.
Yep.
I'm gonna get him.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not paranoid. I don't believe in
Oh my
Bigfoot.
God, this thing says.
Dude, the Bigfoot's gonna
This
get
thing
you.
says as we approach the
He
small
knows if you don't
bridge
believe.
that
Shut
crosses it says as we approach the small bridge that crosses a pond that we call a swamp, we both noticed it was 2 cars in the road. She was in front of a car. She said as we both noticed in the middle of the road, at first I thought it was a bear. As she slowed the car and hit the horn, it stood up and looked in our direction and took off across the swamp. I've heard many years, twice too close for comfort. I had wanted to stand up in front of my grandma's backyard. I think it was spooked. As much as I was, we both ran. It ran away on 4 legs, so I knew what I saw was not a bear. I remember being amazed watching this thing run off. I asked my sister to turn around and go back. She locked the doors and turned around. This thing says, when we got back, there was something in the road that must have been eating a rabbit, a possum, some type of small animal, probably roadkill. It was dark brown, at least 6 foot to 7 foot tall. It happened so quick I was not able to get a good look at the face. All I remember was a big, hairy, large back with no neck. I was 16-year-old at that time. My sister was 18. No one believed us, not even our neighbors. I am 34 now, and I can still see the image in my head. I'm dead.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
If they would have hit that with their car,
How old did that
That'd
person
be
say
awesome.
they was?
They said they was 16. Now
They're
they're 34.
16, now they're 34. That's a clear sign of paranoid. Being paranoid.
No,
Negative.
She was 16
It's a
at the
serious
time. She
case.
was 16 at the time,
Negative.
so it's not negative. It's actually positive.
16-year-olds tend to think, not very up to date. Being 34 and you're still seeing the image,
She said there
either
was
she
two
has
people.
problems
There was 2 people in
or
the car
my
who
guess
saw
is
them.
paranoid. And I think both.
Or it
No.
was real.
But most of these encounters, like that one that Diamond read about the horse Bigfoot, like that person wasn't even thinking about a Bigfoot, so they weren't even paranoid about it.
Maybe.
Exactly. They were thinking about a horse, a big old horse running around the woods.
Make sure you get this on camera. Maybe
It's all on
people
camera.
go in the woods and then, they're thinking about Bigfoot and then so, boom, they just start seeing images and sightings. But
Who
it's another
thinks
sign
about
of being
Bigfoot when they
paranoid.
go to the woods? Not me.
It's
If
been
I was
told,
going
the
to
story
the,
has
I
been
do
told for
sometimes.
hundreds
I
and
do
hundreds and
sometimes.
hundreds
if I was
of
going to
years.
the woods, I would not think about. I wouldn't be thinking about Bigfoot.
He's just very
Especially if I'm,
elusive.
like, camping.
There's not very
I'm like,
many of them.
When
I
I'm in the
be thinking
woods,
about
I think
camping.
about like people coming to like attack me,
Like
or,
crackheads
or
in the woods,
the
yeah.
supernatural.
I'd
I
be
hate
thinking about
crackheads
something
being
like
in
that.
the
I'd be thinking
woods.
about some strangers coming up here and taking my food or something. Anything like if you go camping or something. Or
But
just
see,
in general.
You all haven't seen Bigfoot sightings, so therefore, those people who see those sightings, maybe they're thinking about that when they go into the woods.
I plan on seeing a Bigfoot though.
They're thinking, oh yeah, let's just go in the woods and have some fun. They ain't thinking about no Bigfoot. I wouldn't be thinking about no Bigfoot. So
Those people probably didn't even believe in Bigfoot until that even
until
happened.
they saw it, yeah.
Personally, I go into the woods and I just think about the weird things that I would probably see, and maybe thoughts coming in your head.
I'd be thinking about if I go to the woods, I'd be like, I'm gonna see a snake. I'll be scared.
No, when I
Not
go
no
into the woods, I
Bigfoot.
just think about spiders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all I can think about.
cause I'm scared of spiders.
Dude, I'm terrified of spiders. Oh my god.
I'm so scared.
Dude,
I would
if
cry.
there was one thing on this earth I wish didn't exist, it would be spiders.
I
Like
hate
it would.
bees.
Yeah, spiders and
I
snakes.
really don't like bees.
Bigfoot is not real.
Bigfoot
Bigfoot
is
is
100% real.
Bigfoot is real,
Oh,
and
Comment down below if you think Bigfoot is real.
wait. So let me ask Khalil this. Khalil, do you believe in aliens?
Believe in what?
Aliens?
No, do not.
Well, there has been a real UFO to hit the ground in Roswell, New Mexico. They actually found it, like recovered the alien spacecraft and took it to Area 51, like real deal.
Wasn't Area 51 considered a meme?
What?
What?
did it come
That
from?
was like a
That's the
year.
only reason I know about it is because of.
You didn't
So
know.
You don't know what Area 51
You didn't know
is?
about it
I don't-
before it
it's
was
It's
I
a
a
don't
meme.
super
study things like
secret
that.
government place over in like the desert in the middle of nowhere, and they
Basically like Stranger Things.
like
That's why they
Stranger
were gonna
Things.
storm it, because people wanted to know what was in there, but they didn't let
Yeah,
them
but
in.
because nobody has ever seen the inside, and if you go into Area 51, like if you work there, if you tell anybody what you see in there, they will kill you.
So other than Bigfoot and aliens, what other thing do you believe in?
Ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't like ghosts. I mean,
You don't believe in
I
ghosts?
believe in them, but I don't like
I
to
don't
believe in them.
in things like that because that thing when you think of things like that, it gets you paranoid, and I don't have time. The mental.
I get a
focus
little
to be
paranoid about ghosts,
Smart,
but
right?
Dude, Tanner will not watch anything that has to do with ghosts.
not at night, dude. Not at
I
night.
think ghosts are real. Cause
If you
I could just be in my house and then you hear. I'm like, oh no.
I know, dude. I've had
if you're watching,
experiences
I'm the
like
most
that.
reasonable in this room, and you should listen to me because I know exactly what I'm talking about.
You shouldn't listen to him because I don't know what's wrong with him. You should listen to us because we think Bigfoot real, we think aliens are real, we think ghosts are real.
Because
Totally
it's
ghosts.
all real.
Ghosts is
It's
real
just
for
all
real.
real.
It's
Like,
all-
I
It
think
is.
it's a serious case of them being paranoid. They're paranoid like the other people.
No.
Negative.
You got it all wrong. It's all real.
Roswell incident was very real. Very real. The government even tried to cover it up. They said it was a crashed weather balloon.
yeah, look at this.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Look at that alien.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know
look
it
at
wasn't,
that
but that's
alien.
what they said.
Look at that alien.
Can't even see that alien.
But you can tell it's right there. It's
Oh, yeah.
lighting up there.
Mhm.
Well, let me see
Aliens
it.
are real.
Oh, yeah.
With today's technology, you can fake any photo, any video, anything like that. So therefore, I do not believe in those type of things. I don't want to think of those type of things. I'm right. They're wrong. Listen to me.
If you think
Nah.
Bigfoot is real, ghost is real, aliens are real,
It's all
comment down
real.
below.
They're
Comment
all
down below.
probably friends. They all probably know each other.
Bye.
You know, aliens drop down, say what's up to
What's up,
Bigfoot for a little
Bigfoot?
while. Go over, say what's up to all the spirits, you know.
Yeah, the ghosts most definitely have some spirits around here somewhere.
I mean, there might even be like an alien ghost Bigfoot, like 3-in-1 type deal,
Dude,
you know.
yeah.
That'd be pretty spooky.
Okay, yeah, that'd be actually crazy if you actually see that in the woods one day.
Dude, Khalil, you're
That would
gonna
be
get
terrifying.
dude.
Yeah.
Khalil's gonna get visited by the alien Bigfoot
Yeah, you're gonna
ghost
get
thing.
abducted.
You're gonna
You know,
get
people get
visited
abducted.
tonight.
They
I
gonna
bet
get
you didn't know
abducted by
that.
How
the
can you
aliens.
Aliens do come and abduct
That is
people.
spiritual.
Yeah,
I don't
they do.
believe in anything like that.
You're gonna wake up and be in a UFO.
I don't listen to him. It's not real. None of it
No,
is.
he's gonna wake up and he's gonna be where that in Area 51. That's what you're gonna.
And
be.
then people are gonna be like
What are you doing
operating
here?
on you.
And I'm like, what are you doing here? You cannot be here. We're not telling our business.
Like,
Oh.
Khalil, you can never leave. You've seen the facility. And then
But then I'm like, oh, I thought that was never real. You'll be spooked. They gonna say, you can't leave now. You gotta
So
stay
y'all
here.
can't even come 50-50 with what I'm saying that maybe,
Nah.
just maybe.
what would
No.
50-50 be?
You're not even
Like
giving us
maybe
enough,
it's real, maybe it's not real.
you're not even giving us
I
enough
don't know.
information to provide us to think that it's real.
I'm saying things that are logical.
Not really.
Y'all are talking
You're not even
about-
talking about enough information.
You gotta
don't
think
need information.
outside the box,
Yeah, but
outside
thinking
the
outside
earth
the box is
is what? Boring?
not always.
I mean,
Yeah,
not
okay,
boring?
Boring. That's a word you use when you want. It's for entertainment purposes. I believe. I don't believe any of it's real.
What
No.
do you believe
But
in?
think about this, dude. All right, so all these creatures and like spirits and stuff, they're all like here on Earth, and you think that like that's just like way outside thinking, or not thinking, but like just could not be real. But if you think about it, dude, we live on a ball that's just like floating in outer space. It's just like floating in blackness. It makes no
Explain
sense.
that, Khalil.
Dude, nothing makes any sense. We live on a ball just like floating out there in nothingness. So, it could be real. I mean, we might be living on a dandelion. I don't know.
So Tanner, you seem like the only reasonable one in here. So can you come 50-50 or just even 30?
I don't know, dude. I'm a pretty firm believer. I get pretty spooked, about things in the woods, especially ghosts, dude. I don't like ghosts. They'll sneak up on you.
Yeah,
Dude,
ghosts are really
they'll scar
scary.
you for life.
Yeah, they will.
This is behind.
Oh, yeah, it's right there. Dude, look, I'm right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
sweet.
totally behind.
Oh, it's Stevie now. It's Stevie.
It's because it's a little behind. It's
It's
okay.
a little behind.
All right, so does that conclude our podcast?
No,
Or?
no, we need more.
I'm Khalil.
Wait,
No.
I got a
Yeah.
question for
We've been
Khalil.
doing-
We're still podcasting.
No, we got a question for Khalil. What do you believe in, since you want to say nothing ain't real to you as entertainment?
Well, I mean these type of things, believing in,
I didn't ask
creatures and
that.
things
I
like
asked
that.
what do you believe in?
I mean, personally, I don't believe. I mean, good question, but like,
Yeah, so you have to answer it.
I don't know what I believe in, but in this type of things, I don't believe in personally. So that's all I can give it to you like that. I don't believe in Bigfoot, aliens, creatures, not anything like that. And that's the end of my story. I'm 100% firm on my beliefs. I don't believe in Bigfoot. Will never believe in Bigfoot. Will never believe the stories, the accusations, any of that. No matter how much evidence you give or anything like that,
My hair
I'll never
smells
believe
like
in.
flat iron.
What if you go home and see one? Will you believe tomorrow?
I still won't. I'll think about.
You still won't believe
I'll think
tomorrow?
about having this conversation, having this podcast, and thinking about, now it's on my mind. That's why I'm seeing it. That's why. I
Oh
believe-
my god!
That's why I believe
So
other
if you
people are
see
doing
an
too. If
he
actual
come and
Bigfoot,
attack
he
you-
picks you up a little, looks directly in your eyes, and then sets you back down. You're still not gonna believe.
If I sit back down and he's gone, I'll believe it was a dream.
Well, what if he sits there and plays checkers with you?
Do you have an animal?
No,
Never mind.
then I'll believe it's all a dream.
I'm about to say, what if your animal came up dead by Bigfoot?
You're gonna wake up in the yard because you passed out and say it was just a dream.
Yeah.
Their mama's gonna be
Oh
like,
my gosh.
where's my son? Oh, he got kidnapped by the aliens and Bigfoot and all of that.
All right, do you want me to end it
All right,
with
y'all.
the outro?
Yeah, end it.
All right, so y'all better comment, like, and subscribe to
All right,
Hannah
guys.
Broadcast, and we're gonna catch you another time.
Khalil is
Thank
always
you.
right.
Goodbye,
Believe it.
everyone.